They told me to mind my own business, that it wasn't my fight, that I should have stayed quiet, let it slide, and let the girl keep her spot on the soccer team. But what do you do when silence feels like betrayal? It happened during lunch, the kind of lunch that's supposed to be uneventful. A tray of food, quiet conversation, trying to pretend school isn't soul-sucking. I was sitting with my friend Aisha. She's 15, soft-spoken, thoughtful, and happens to wear a hijab. Not that it should matter, but in our school, it apparently does. People stare, whisper, judge. Like the fabric on her head makes them uncomfortable. Like it's a symbol of something they're too lazy to understand. But Aisha, she just keeps her head down and goes on. That day, though, that was different. Megan walked up to us like she was strolling into a locker room she owned. Same age as Aisha, but couldn't be more different. Loud, confident. One of those girls who knows the hallways revolve around her. She leaned in and said it with a smirk. "I dare you to take it off." That's what she told Aisha, loud enough for a few others nearby to hear. And then, smiling, she added, "You'd look so pretty without it." Aisha's hand froze around her spoon. Her eyes dropped. And I felt a pit form in my stomach. I had told Megan once before what the hijab meant. I had assumed she was just ignorant, needed education. I was wrong. This wasn't curiosity. It was mockery. And then she reached for it. Her hand extended like it had the right to take. Like Aisha was a doll, or a costume, or an idea, not a person. She tried to pull it off. I didn't even think. I shoved her hand away. Not hard, just enough. Enough to snap the moment back into reality. Aisha stood up, shaken. I grabbed her tray. We walked straight to the principal's office. I expected consequences. Instead, Megan cried, literally cried. She spun a story about her position on a very prestigious soccer club, about how being disciplined would ruin her chances, her future, her dreams. She turned the scene inside out, and somehow we walked out feeling like the troublemakers. Aisha didn't cry. She just kept quiet, clutching her bag, fingers still trembling. I wanted to scream. But Aisha just gave a small smile, like she was already used to this kind of thing. Like this was just how the world worked. I tried to let it go. I really did. But a few days later, Megan posted a TikTok. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't remorseful. It was a video with a smug caption. "When you get called to the principal's office for telling the Muslim girl to take off her durag." Durag. She didn't even try to understand. Worse, she reduced Aisha's identity to a punchline. She turned hate into a joke. The kind of joke people like and share because they don't want to feel guilty about laughing. I showed Aisha the video. She didn't flinch, but I saw her swallow something hard, something she wouldn't let out. She looked at me and said, Can you write the email?" I knew what she meant. She didn't want to be that girl, the one who complains, the one who causes drama, the one who speaks up and then has to pay for it. But me? I wasn't the one being mocked. I wasn't the one whose religion was turned into a dare. So, I wrote the email. I attached the video. I described what happened. I sent it directly to the soccer organization's regional office. Within 24 hours, Megan was removed from the team. Not just that, multiple clubs in the area were informed. They called it a violation of ethics. They said her behavior didn't represent the values of the sport. It was swift, clinical, final. And then the flood began. My DMs lit up, from her friends, from strangers, from people at school, They called me a snake, a bitch, a retard. They told me to take a joke, that I ruined someone's future over one little comment. I wanted to scream at them. It wasn't one comment. It was every dirty look Aisha ever got. It was every moment she felt small and invisible. It was the reaching hand, the TikTok, the refusal to apologize. My parents weren't exactly thrilled either. They said, "You should have stayed out of it." They said, "Let the school handle these things." They said, "What if this gets worse?" And for a while, I wondered if they were right, because the silence gets heavy, the judgment gets loud. And when you're young, when you're just 16, being right doesn't always feel good. It feels like sitting alone in your room, refreshing your phone, and watching the messages pile up. It feels like hearing your name whispered in the hallway, and not knowing if you'll have anyone to sit with at lunch the next day. And it feels like watching your friend, the one you stood up for, still walking with her eyes to the floor, because no one knows how to make her feel safe. But then, the messages started to shift. From strangers, from kids who had seen what happened. "Thank you. Wish someone had done this for me. You're a good friend." One girl even said, "If you were my daughter, I'd be proud." And that broke me. Because I'd been wondering for days if I was the bad guy, if I had gone too far, if I'd overstepped. But maybe standing between someone and their bully isn't going too far. Maybe it's just being human. Megan lost her team, but she didn't lose it because of me. She lost it because she made a choice. She made a series of choices. She mocked. She attacked. She joked. She filmed. And even then, we didn't seek revenge. We reported. That's what people forget. We didn't rally a mob. We didn't ruin her name in the street. We told the truth and let the organization decide what it meant for their values. And they decided. She faced the consequences of her own behavior. And me? I faced the consequences of doing what's right. I faced isolation, harassment, disappointment from the people I trusted most. But I'd do it again. Because every time I look at Aisha, I see someone who has to fight a battle just to exist. And maybe she's too quiet to speak up. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she's learned that when you speak up, no one listens. But someone should. Someone has to. So, am I the asshole? For standing up? For sending the email? For helping my friend find her voice when the world kept telling her to stay silent? I still don't know how to answer that without sounding angry, or tired, or scared, but I'll leave it up to you. So tell me, was I wrong? This story isn't just about high school. It's about the invisible line we all walk when deciding whether to speak up. It's about the cost of doing the right thing when it's not popular, when it makes people uncomfortable, when it paints a target on your back. The narrator didn't act out of vengeance. She acted out of love, out of loyalty, out of that quiet, burning fury that says, enough is enough. And let's be honest, how many of us stay silent in those moments? We see injustice. We hear the joke. We know it's wrong, but we look away. Maybe we're scared. Maybe we're tired. Maybe we think someone else will step up. But what if they don't? What if the only thing standing between cruelty and consequence is you? If you take anything from this story, let it be this. Silence doesn't protect the vulnerable. It protects the people hurting them. Be the one who speaks. Be the one who stands. And if you've ever been Aisha, if you've ever sat quietly while the world judged you for just being, know this: you deserve someone in your corner. You deserve someone brave enough to send the email. And if no one has told you that today, let me be the first. Now it's your turn. What would you have done? Comment below. Tell us where you draw the line. This is AITA Story Vault, where truth meets consequence. And sometimes, justice speaks through the quietest voices.